Hey, Federico, I hear that it's possible to create your own chatbot with the low code, but are they really smart? Can we use the OpenAI API so we can empower them with GPT-4 or other technologies? Of course, that is possible. And today, we're going to create your first chatbot with GPT-4 and OutSystems. Let's go ahead. For building this application, we're going to use OutSystems, which is one of the best low-code tools in the market. We're going to create a new application. We're going to create it from scratch. We're going to use a phone app. We're going to give a name like chatbot because this is what we're creating. We can give any description that you want, choose a color, upload an icon, what fits for you. We're going to add a module. And we're going to drag and drop a screen. And we're going to use an empty one for this exercise. After that, we're going to add some dependencies because we need the OpenAI dependency or an asset, as it's called here. We can search in the options that we have, but I don't have it installed. So we're going to download it from Forge. We're going to use the OpenAI API wrapper, which is one of the few that supports chat, embeddings, and other features. We're going to install it. Sometimes you need to click twice in these buttons. They are not always so clear. This is one of the examples. We're going to click again on install, and it's going to add a new dependency in your services. Cool. Now that it's added, we're going to try to add it back. We're going to refresh, try to refresh all, but it seems that, well, it sent us back. Let's check again. It's not available, so let's close and open it again. Let's add it. And now it's available. So let's add all the features that we have available. Apply. And it's loaded. So now let's add it, like let's chat and let's do the basic configurations. We're going to create some tabs and some wrapper for our application, just to make it as simple as possible. The most important parts are the inputs and the buttons that we're going to add later, especially the list. Right now, we're just creating the basic body for this application. We're going to add the input, where we're going to collect the chats, and now the button. We need to create a variable where we're going to store it, and we're going to create the events. But something that is missing are some extra variables, like some list, some places we're going to have the chats that we're going to collect, a message that is going to be like intermediate, so we can connect the dots like the assistant type, the roles, the message that you are transferring, and an additional list that we're going to use to display the final message. The next part is to do the configurations. We need to create first a message items list. Yes, as you can see, message item is the basic option, but we need a list of message items because this is what we're going to send to OpenAI. So we choose a list and we search for message items. Cool. The next variable, we're going to assign also the message item type. Now we can assign the variables. For that, we're going to use the variable that is related to the temporal message. That one is going to have two options. One, that is the role, and the next one is the content. The roles can be assistant, it can be the user, and it can be the system. There is a message that you need to provide to OpenAI so the application knows how it's going to behave. We assign the variables, but now we're going to assign the content, which is any information, but this is what we're getting from the inputs. But something is missing that we haven't initialized the list, which is the system variable, what OpenAI is expecting. So we're going to initialize the application. We're going to assign the basic values again. Design as an assistant for the role. And for the content, we're going to provide some instructions like, please be my assistant and replies these messages in this and this way. It can be any message that you want as a basic instructions. And then you're going to append these values. Go append it to the list. Cool. Now that we have that, we can go back to the other section and we're going to append the current message to the application. We're going to assign it to the list. Now we have two messages. Sometimes it's not so clever, so check if everything is correct, because not always it works in the best way. After that, we're going to append also to another list. And you might be wondering, why are we going to append the message twice? The main reason is that instead of, let's say, investing a lot of time doing mappings and these things, it's better just copy the text in another list and we're going to display it quickly. After that is done, we're going to run a server action. But before that, it seems, as you see, that sometimes the variables are not assigned as expected. Cool. Now let's run a server action. This is where we're going to get the messages from OpenAI. We're going to run a chat completion. The first one is that we're going to set a variable that in this case I already created it. The next part, we're going to set the configurations like the model that was GPT-4 and we transfer the list. Then we're going to serialize the messages we're getting from OpenAI. And after that, we're going to deserialize the message from OpenAI. And we're going to set a specific result that we want to see. That is the response. Cool. The next part is to assign the results back. And we need to assign it to a temporal variable because this is the user, the reply that is coming from the system. I know this is a little bit cumbersome. It might be easier if you do it in C#, JavaScript, but keep in mind that these are low-code tools, and just to build the interface, this is way faster. So we get the message, and how do we get it? I advise you to go to the expressions editor, which is a little bit easier. You can double-click on the message that you're getting back. We get the data, we get the data again, and then we get one value from it, from the choices, and we're gonna get the content. Cool. Again, we need to append it to the list so we can carry on with the conversations. To append the messages, and then we're gonna append it to the text list. Trust me, we don't need to do it more after this. Now that everything is appended, we're gonna go back to the home screen and we're gonna drag and drop the list. And we're gonna publish it. So we're gonna see how it looks on the browser. This is gonna show us a preview that you can check in different devices like iPhones, Samsungs, and different devices on the internet before you can publish it on the stores. Now let's open it in browser. And as you can see, it's loading. Now let's ask a question, like, what is the nicest part of Łódź? And voila, we get a message. Let's ask, what is the best university in Łódź? Cool, we got them. Now let's go to the next part, that is for the images. How we can generate these cool things. We're gonna create again like a basic infrastructure, just similar to the last time. We have a button, we have an input, as you can see, and now we need a message. And not a message, but an image where we're going to display it. We're going to set a URL because this is the nicest way to show the results and the easiest one, to be honest. And we're going to go back to the click event. This is quicker. We're going to directly go to run server action, and we're going to get the completion event. Cool. Now that we're going to create the image, we need to copy and paste the OpenAI key. And after that, we're going to set the prompt, that is the message, the size, that is 256 by 256, and the end is just that I want 1. And we're going to serialize the message like the last time. And we're going to deserialize it again. We'll make it based on the response that we're getting from the internet. After that, we're going to assign the result to the variable that contains the URL. And again, expression editor is way easier in my experience. Then you can get the data, then you can get the information, then you can get the data that is going to be an array, and then you eventually get the URL. Cool. Now we're going to publish it, and let's see if we can actually create images. Let's open in browser and let's see the last result. It's been updated. Let's go to the next tab of images. Let's create a biking boat first. And let's create the last thing, a passkey. Let's see if OpenAI is smart enough to create a passkey. And voila, we have our passkey created. I hope you're excited for everything you have seen and that you want to build the next chatbots in your organization, or maybe to empower more people to become citizen developers. But I'm sure you have a very specific question, and it's, Federico, is that possible to create something like Microsoft Copilot where I can combine chats with text and all these things? The answer is absolutely yes. But for that, you need to use a different framework that is called LangChain. LangChain is a powerful framework that allows you to combine multiple APIs with large language models. This is an exciting option that you can explore and to go in depth. You can go to even integrate Wikipedia's API, your personal API, and many other things. Believe me, the future combining large language models like OpenAI, Gemini, OutSystems, and any API that you have is incredibly bright. I would like to encourage you to download the chatbot, check it, and start testing on your own, because you can become the next citizen developer in your organization. I hope I left you wiser than I found you, and until the next time, bye.